Yes. What's up, colleagues? How are y'all? Al Jackson here, welcoming you guys to a very exciting Monday episode. Let's get it going. We are all, as a unit, as a group of colleagues, waiting for Tory. She's coming from an appointment. Tory's one of those people, and it took me until about, I would argue, 2 years ago to stop doing this. She's a person that gives you ideal times that she could arrive. You know how, like, wherever you live, if it takes 30 minutes to get from the airport, I would just be like, yeah, I could be there in 20, and I can't. But I want to tell you that I can because I know that you need me there in 20 minutes. So I'll say it. And then I'll be there in 30 minutes and you'll be pissed, rightfully. So we won't be upset. We already knew the tour was going to be late. But I say all that to say, I'm not sure when she's going to be here. We need to just be patient. Like as Erica says, be still. Erica will be on Daytime Talk After Dark tomorrow. So we're slowly getting the gang back together. You guys know how we do. Before, Tory gets here, I just want to tell you guys, I don't know if any colleagues made it out to Fort Collins this weekend, but I had a great group of a great bunch of shows. And I just wanted to say thank you to you guys for supporting me. Even if it's just on this platform, it means a lot as a comic, as an entertainer, as a dad. So I appreciate that. And I like, for as much as like I'm sad DBL ended, of course, we all miss DBL, moment of silence. I am happy with where my stand-up is now. I'll be real with you guys. There was a point where I kind of started to feel gross doing stand-up while I was doing DBL because I wasn't practicing enough to write as many new jokes as I want. And I felt like I was just doing stand-up for the money and it felt gross. And coming back to it now, I just appreciate it more. I don't drink, so I actually remember what city I am in. Hello. Instant callback with my jokes. What's up? So, yeah, I'm just enjoying it a lot more the second time around. And DBL was kind of like a long Super Bowl length halftime in between my stand-up career. So I had a great time out there in Fort Collins. I have shows in Dayton, Syracuse coming up. I'll also be in Ann Arbor and a bunch of other cities that I need to talk to my girlfriend before I announce to you guys because I'm not sure. We'll get to this later. Julie Ward says, when will I ever come to Arizona? Oh, when I come to AZ, you'll be there. Look, Julia, I would love to. My buddy Frank Caliendo lives there, and they got a great bunch of clubs over there. So, and my nephew Josh lives there. My nephew Josh is a teacher. I reference him a lot when I talk about, having to help family members, better teachers help get their classroom ready for the year. So that's what I'm talking about, my cousin in Arizona. So shout out to Josh, one of the best people I've ever known. I remember a little side note about Josh. Josh was born when I was in college, and I got the phone call on a landline phone. Does anybody remember how clear landlines are? You only really experience landlines like when you're in a hotel, you need to call a front desk. Does anybody here still speak on a landline? Because I love them. I absolutely love landline phones. If you have one in your house, people look at you like you're a crazy person. That's fine. A little judgy, but whatever. But they sound clear. And I don't like talking on the phone because you have to have that kind of like G.I. Joe kung fu grip when you hold it. I just kind of want a big phone in the kitchen, cord long enough to go to the neighbor's house. I'm sorry. I was, where was I yesterday? And I was talking about just that I appreciate the old school, but I've talked about my grandparents' house and I feel like I'm slowly, you guys see the globe back there, the artwork, we're slowly starting to unpack. I want my house to be a little bit more retro. You see the look for the show is a little bit more retro. I liked that era. I'm sorry. I kind of like there was more. Let's see what I'm trying to read that. Oh, yeah, there's there's so many things about that era that I appreciate, but you know what I like and what I find myself loving the most during and right after stand-up shows is people come up to you and say some really personal-ish. And as corny as it sounds, it makes me feel like I did my job, because what I'm essentially having is a 45-minute conversation that's one way, but it's really not one way, because the audience is receiving that and processing that and having thoughts about what I'm saying. So I think that's why, like, when I get off stage, people, and I'll send a screenshot of the text messages that I sent Sar, who's on vacation. Tory, what's up?
Hi. Your
You,
new setup looks good. What?
You look like you just got in a fight at pickleball.
It's over the line. It was over the line.
Oh, I guarantee you there are some pickleball fights for that ass. I guarantee you that.
Totally. I'm so sorry. Hi, everyone. I'm sorry I was a little late. So good to see everyone. But your space looks great, Al. Have you gotten a new space?
Thanks. No, I just relit it and have been doing a lot of work. Elijah gets here tomorrow, so he'll make an appearance on the pod tomorrow night. Yeah. I was telling the colleagues something crazy happened to me, Tori. And I talked to my mom about this. This is how weird it was. I had really great shows in Fort Collins this week, and this guy came up to me after the Saturday night early show, and he came up and he gave me a hug, and he was like, I work with kids with autism. I really appreciate what you have to say about people with autism. And when him and his wife were leaving, she kind of walked off and he hugged me and he said, she and I are dealing with a lot of heavy things right now, and your jokes tonight helped heal a marriage. I know.
Al, that's the first time you've ever helped heal a marriage.
I know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was like I was like, dude, you can't be saying stuff. I got to do another show, dog.
Yeah,
like,
that's
it'll fall apart like the end of Beaches. Shout out Bette Midler.
That's one that'll always get me. I'm so happy for you, and you're speaking up about autism and normalizing it. Life-changing for people, Al. Life-changing.
It's a lot of parents with autism that I ended up talking to after the show, and it's interesting to see the different places that people are. And Tori, can you read the screenshots? Because my laptop is far away, so I keep my eye line to the camera, but I can't read the freaking comments. So
Yes.
Somebody could say, watch out, Al, there's a guy in your house. And I'd be like, thank you, Julia.
ELC, you're the best.
I can't see it.
I do want to see, Julia says, comics say things in a way that need to be said and it becomes acceptable. And I think of like George Carlin's, the Richard Pryors, where they push the envelope. And you're kind of that of autism and on the spectrum, Al. And I'm so proud of you. I'm so, so proud. You're really speaking and hitting on something that I don't think comics have really done. And it's just a wonderful thing for you to do. You do it so well and so authentically.
Well, did I ever tell you about what my girl Makala said about comedians?
No.
Makala, a little bit of backstory. You'll definitely see her on the pod. I knew her when she was a 17-year-old waitress at the Miami Improv. She spent her entire life in the world of stand-up. She moved to New York City. She became a manager. Now she is a tour manager for that Dungeons and Dragons podcast that I told you. They sold out Radio City Music Hall in 2 hours. Like, every time she comes in Denver, she's at the Four Seasons. I was like, what?
Damn, girl.
They sell out. And I was like, what is this dungeon? Do they have like a pyrotechnics and people acting it out? No, it's 4 nerds sitting at a table talking about, I just doubled up your firepower there, Tori. And she said people scream like Metallica just came out.
That's cool. D&D people are very loyal. They're just extremely loyal fans.
Absolutely, and creative. But really quick, I was just going to say, like, what she said about comedians is she was talking about a famous comic that everybody here knows. I'm not going to say their name, but she was like, he drinks too much, and plus he's on the spectrum. And I go, oh, he's on the spectrum. And she just goes, Al, you all are. And just like, so matter of factly, like, what, you don't know this better? But just like, I think that, comics and people on the spectrum just provide a little different slice of life. They just take the world and they tilt it like 20 degrees and they look at it differently. And so I just want to like let people know, more importantly, I don't really need acceptance is wonderful, but I'm really more talking to the parents that I wish I could be talking to myself when I tell them, I'm like, let go of like whatever preconceived notions, because you're trying to like guide your kid, like this is the right way to do it. You go play with her, and your kid's like, I'm looking at this anthill, you know? And it's hard because everything we've seen is like, this is what kids do. And you panic because if they're not going to follow the normal kid playbook, what's your playbook?
Totally.
And it's making it up every day.
Totally.
And it's really hard for people to let go. But once you do, it's like the best ride.
There's freedom.
Yeah. It's like mushrooms.
Shiitake?
Yes. So, Tory, anything to update everybody about before we, slide on into things?
Just really quickly, guys, I just came back from therapy. My new job starts on Monday, and I'm really excited. But I went back to therapy, and I just want to say I'm working on becoming my own person, of giving my own self permission to do things. I think I've always outsourced that permission, even to like Al and Michael Dean and like producers. And I find ways of being like, is this okay? What do you think? What do you think? And so I'm really trying to be the person that's like, I think it's okay. I'm okay with that decision. That I give myself for that decision to be made. I'm doing it. So I don't know, guys. It's like little exposure therapies every day, all the time. And it's not fun. It's movement, but it's not improvement all the time. So I just want to say that that's what I'm going through. I worked out this morning. I read the paper. I made myself coffee, just trying to get out of like the depressive episode I'm in. Is really difficult to do little things. So I'm trying to make, again, baby steps. Like, what about Bob?
Yes. Yes. I understand that you are in a depressive state, and nothing I say can or will change that. And I think it's a part of everything. You're kind of grieving the end of something. One day we'll decide when we can stop talking around it. For right now, we're grieving the end of something. And that's part of it. But I also encourage you to keep your eyes open.
Yeah.
And that's something that I have done in like the last 3 years, when like just I got all my stuff stolen, and then the show ended, and moved in with my girl, and all so like it's just been a lot of transition. But it's just like I always tell myself, and I was telling the comics last weekend when I was at Cincinnati, because one of the comics was kind of complaining about having to do something with his girlfriend. I'm like, I used to do that, and now I go, because I'm like, that's where the material is. That's where
right.
you dudes, especially comics, it kills me, and I'm blaming myself too. I don't want to go to the yarn store. First of all, I would, but
I love the yarn store.
Yeah, but like you have to keep doing stuff. I think like the more comfortable you get, you just think you can be a comic that's funny, but you got to be out with the people and doing stuff you love, going on a date that goes badly. It's all part of the process. And like, Tory, this is going to be like a rough transition, I guess. But like, remember that there's like a lot of good too. So just don't overlook that.
Yes. And Beverly Parker just wrote, so happy for you, Tory. Thank you so much. Any
Me
tips?
Too.
Thank you. Any tips you can send our way would be greatly appreciated. My one thing that I would give a tip on is I have a lot of puzzle pieces, and Al knows that sometimes on TV, I'm perfectly capable. And when I'm doing certain things, I'm really capable. On stage, I'm really capable. But then you send Tory to the grocery store and I fall apart, and like, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm really scared. So I'm trying with my therapist to find the pieces that are really strong, use that as like a jumping off point. So find places that you're great. Even if it's like you can redecorate or you can sew, or find confidence bubbles of the puzzle and try and build a bigger puzzle. And my main thing I'm working on now is don't outsource your self permission. Don't give it to others, give it to yourself. I'm like barely.
Unless you're in a dom sub relationship.
Totally. Then it's yes, sir, may I have another? You know what I mean?
I'm sorry. But yeah, it's
so I'm trying to be understanding that like no one else can make that. I'm at the top of that hierarchy. I get to make the final decisions about my life. I'm really, really scared about it. Thank you, Julia. Fortunately, you have a support with your colleagues here. Trust me, I love you guys. I am so
we
thankful.
feel it and we appreciate y'all, Tory.
Yeah,
But
we do.
let's get to the stuff that we don't appreciate. All right.
Okay, I'll
Tory,
go.
you wanna go? All right.
Yes. I am over a two-step verification on everything.
Yes.
I don't
Lord.
need to tell the robot I'm not a robot, to tell my other machine, to tell that machine I'm not a robot. I just want to get in. I just want to get in.
Yeah. You know what I hate, Tory, with the two-step verification is when they go, we just sent a number to your email. There's a man on a park bench with a briefcase. It's handcuffed to his wrist. You're going to have to take it no matter what.
Not 3 times. Tell him Joe sent you. Like, why?
It's too much. And I don't know. Am I the only one, colleagues, that I feel like they already got all the stuff?
I don't need to tell the robot I'm not a robot. Like, just trust me.
Yeah.
Like, no one wants to pay my phone bill. Do I need 2 steps to get in?
Yeah. Like,
get into my AT&T bill.
Anyone that can get in there, have at it. Pay away. Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Al?
Oh, that would be something that happened to me yesterday. You know me, I'm a man of the people, and was at a Walmart in I wouldn't even say predominantly Hispanic neighborhood. I would say all. There was a black dude working there. He was like running things in the electronics. You could tell he was thriving. I needed, and it's funny because I ended up talking to him, and I was just like, the reason I needed his help, I didn't need electronics. I needed some Pedialyte because
for SAR?
No, for myself, because I take Adderall.
Oh, yeah.
And it dehydrates you. And so I want to make sure that I'm hydrated, especially here in Denver. So I'll get those Pedialyte powder packs and put it in my water. And when you go to get the Pedialyte out and any other place, Walgreens, you pick it up and you walk to the counter. Not at a predominantly Hispanic Walmart. I get there, it's behind glass, like it's King Kong or some shit. And you have to push a button and it says an attendant will come. No attendant came. I'm standing there. So then I turn around, I see the black dude in electronics. So I walk out of baby area into electronics to my one bright light, the brother. And I'm like, hey, man, I don't need a cord, but I need you to open that glass. And so he turns around, yells to another kid who comes over. And I went from having nobody next to me in front of this glass, Tory. This is the process to get Pedialyte at this Walmart. I have pictures. I just can't. It won't convert them to JPEG. So I'll figure this out by the end of the show. But I took I went from having no one around me. All of a sudden, there was an older Hispanic woman, a super young, cute one, and the dude that initially came over to help me. He is standing in between me and the Pedialyte. Like, which one do you want? Like, he had to get it. And then I was like, I'll take that. So he's taking it. They take it, but they don't put it in your cart. They put it in like this plastic container that locks at the top. It looks like something that you would keep like 4 bags of Cheerios in so they don't get stale. Like one of those like clear, but it's got a black lid.
Yeah, like an OXO one. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have 2 containers that look like they're from the movie Outbreak in my cart. I'm like, what? And I'm like wheeling them up to the front like I've got the liquid nitrogen. I'm like, what the? And then when you get to the front, you got to get another dude to unlock it again. I'm like, are y'all?
Oh my God. So apparently A to Z with JB, great name, says, yeah, here in SoCal, regardless of race, Walmarts have from Tide to toothpaste on lockdown. Wait, I mean, what if I want to go buy like sad things like tampons, chocolate, and a romance novel? Do they all have to be like locked up?
That should be one store behind a bar and they just hand you a pack of cigs and you're like, I don't smoke there like you do today. Yeah. We'll catch you up on these soap operas. It'll be real easy. Sit down.
What do you want? That's crazy. I can't get cosmetics because they're all locked up. And I like to look at the shades and I don't want to go get someone. So forget it.
Tory, I'm the same way. I almost didn't get it, but I was like, I'm literally standing less than 6 inches from it. Do I want to leave and drive to another store? Or do I just want to push the dumb button? And next thing I know, I get swatted. Just like and they were very friendly, but like I didn't realize like I didn't touch my Pedialytes until I was out of the Walmart.
Dang. So I guess everyone's writing in. Lucy says, "Yup, I live in Modesto, California. Everything is behind glass. Everything." Shelly says things being locked up is horrible for me because I'm on the spectrum and I'm very compelled to touch and look at everything I buy. And if I can't do that, I will not buy. I totally relate to that, Shelly.
Yes.
Especially with like makeup and stuff. I want to see the shade up close. Like I just totally relate to you. So we are over it.
Yes. All right. Well, let's get to our top story today, Tortor. Let's go. All right.
So cool.
I'm assuming, Michael Dean, we are going to talk about the Texas floods and what a great job Kristi Noem has done there.
So,
good Lord.
Yeah. So if you guys didn't know, there's two things I want to say about Kristi Noem. One, let's not forget she executed her dog. She executed her dog, her pet dog. I need to say that.
And because put it in a book like, I did this.
Right. And Republicans and Democrats, just so you guys know, are dog people, both. It's the one thing that crosses the line is our love for dogs is purely American. So I don't know how she became the head of a very empathetic bureau of government where you need to feel empathy, Al. Put the woman who executed the dog in front of FEMA, in charge of FEMA. Like that makes no sense to me. And then secondly, her major issue is she said that anything over $100,000 needs to be checked by her, like specifically by her.
She has to sign off on any government grant or contract.
Right. Yeah, everything is going to be over $100,000. These people lost everything. So it's going to be in the billions. So this will slow everything down into a horrible bottleneck. And imagine being on the phone waiting for somebody who's understaffed at these FEMA places and not getting through, and then having to go through Kristi Noem herself. I can't. So I don't get the rationale. It's only because she's pretty that I think Trump put her in there. Literally because she's a pretty Republican who's loyal. That's it. Awful. Michael Dean says July 7th, FEMA answered only 16% of the 16,419 calls.
Look, man.
She's a monster. And you put her in front of the one federal government that takes like real heart, Al, like real understanding.
Right. Well, I mean, it's part of, I've been listening to a lot of former NOAA employees. Obviously, that's a branch underneath the, that works hand in hand with FEMA.
Yeah.
And they talk about the frustration because FEMA is, for whatever reason, under the same umbrella as Homeland Security. And they were like, Homeland Security is a big, slow bureaucracy. I mean, it's covering it. FEMA needs to be quick and nimble and like respond. We have a flood. We have a tornado. We have a hurricane. Oh my God. You know, and it moves with the same process of just like, hey, we need some troops for the annual pig cook-off in Montana. Like things move extremely slowly, and there were a lot of people. I believe 10% of their staff was cut before at NOAA before this event happened, including the guy. He wasn't fired. He took one of the early retirement. Basically when he was forced out, and he was the person that would call, the person at NOAA and say, hey, we've got a potential flooding situation here in Texas. Let's send the alerts out. That guy is now at home watching us.
Right.
And because of that, there's nobody on that wall. And this is what happens. And Tory, it kind of leads me to my question to you. What do you say? Because Republicans and Democrats, but it's definitely a Republican standby, is, oh, we can't talk about guns right now. We're grieving these dead kids. Oh, we can't talk about the FEMA response. It's still floodwaters. Well, when are we supposed to talk about it, Tory? Because my answer is whenever somebody in the government says it's not time to talk about it, that means it's the exact time to talk about it.
Amen, Al. I couldn't say better. Michael Dean's letting us know that Trump recently said, quote, only a very evil person would ask about reports that flood alerts weren't sent out earlier and that people died as a result. I agree with you. It's exactly the right time to talk about it when it's happening. And not only that, our country is based on dissent. So if you disagree and question the government, that is what our American idealism is about. So that's important to remember. If you're a patriot, you question your government because you're allowed to. And in several other countries, you are not. So that's when you do it. And again, I don't know why you'd put a dog killer in charge of FEMA. And I also think now is the right time to ask the questions. Where's the staffing? Where's the money? Where's the urgency? 72 hours after the floods, you visit? What's going on here? We have 27 people dying in a camp of flash floods, and we got more coming in Pennsylvania. We need to get some answers.
And New Mexico. And it's so weird that he's like, anybody that would ask about that
is an evil person.
You're the government. You're not my effing homeboy from college. Like, when you are the government, you say, hey, Tory, Al, colleagues, family of colleagues, all Americans, our version of government will keep you safe. Here are the processes in which we're going to do that. That's all. That's our relationship with government. They're going to keep the stoplights going. They're going to keep the mail going. They're going to keep the trash not in front of our homes. That's what the government has, those kinds of jobs.
We pay them. We support them. We pay they're working for us, which is exactly what Gigi's just said. Just keep going.
They work for us. And so like this whole thing about I live my life by this, and colleagues, if you've heard me say it once, you've heard me say it 100 times. Anytime there is something contractual that you're discussing, in this case, these contract we have between citizen and government, and somebody brings in something emotional, like you don't like me, you're evil, you're rude, you're nasty, that's how you know they got nothing. Because when you're just talking about a transaction, hey, how long is my car going to take? That's a nasty question. What?
Right.
It's just we're doing business here.
I'm sorry. What time is it? You're an evil person.
You disgusting, filthy mouth woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually what America's based on, just so everybody knows. Yeah.
Tory, can I ask you the harder question? Is Texas going to let them off the hook like they did when the grid failed the last 2 times during those ice storms? Ted Cruz in Cancun, whatever.
Right. I mean, it's really about the electorate, the constituents, and it's about maybe unseating Governor Abbott, who has been there and showed loyalty, or it's about unseating and giving some Democrats a chance in Texas. So look, Texas is a hard red state. It is a Friday Night Lights. We have red meat. We like our beer, and we don't want to do it. Oh, look at this. Governor Abbott said, quote, every football team makes mistakes. Again, the football theme. The way winners talk is not to point at fingers. They talk about solutions. What Texas is all about is solutions. In order to talk about solutions, you have to talk about the problem, sir. That's what happens. I can't stand Abbott. Yeah. So,
or skip the problems. What are your solutions?
Yeah. Talk to me.
I'm waiting on anything. I heard some name calling and some vague reference to football. Sometimes you drop the pass. Hey, I can't find my daughter, dude. I don't want to hear about your all G shucks. Look, life
absolutely
is
right.
Life is like a helmet that's half full of water and half full of sweat. Shut up, dummy. Fix your dumb system.
That's right. There's a sideline for everything. That makes no sense, sir. That makes no sense.
All right. Tory, well, while we are on the topic of government, let's talk about Alligator Alcatraz. They are saying that
stinger? There's no alligator?
I tried to make one. I thought I did. I don't know. Okay. I really want an alligator one. I really want an alligator stinger, but no Alligator Alcatraz. And you know what hit me, and colleagues, I don't know if y'all have thought about this, but when I thought about what Trump was kind of signaling to the people who got him elected, the rich people that got him elected, the people that own prisons, the people that own facilities that house people. If you are so hot on getting folks deported, what the hell do you have a holding facility for? You should literally have buses taking people to the border. But
Well,
yet they said that they're packing these holding facilities. Why? Because there's $450 a person per day for all of these privatized prisons, for these internment camps. There, the article Michael Dean said, says that there are hundreds of people in there with no charges.
There's some that have zero criminal charges, that have not been adjudicated, that have no criminal past, that are there now. So that's a major issue. Also, how are we going to adjudicate all these people at once is bizarre to me and not efficient as the way Doge is supposed to be. And then third, Al, I just read that the environmental impact of Alligator Alcatraz is very bad for Floridians, as the water source around there actually goes to like a majority of Floridians. So it's like an environmental disaster as well. So all of this, I don't understand. But the idea of like, are we really thinking of having people near alligators so we could like, is that what they mean, that they're going to like throw them in?
It's a medieval torturous version, because there's nothing in a world where we have drones and vision that can see through walls. Why do we have this Dark Ages technology
Totally.
with a moat? What is there, a
Right.
catapult for people that are bad? This
like
is
tar and feather. Like,
yeah, really. This is
yes.
because it's for sport. And the reason that they're not being deported is they know that they can't deport them because a lot of these people don't have charges.
Right.
Well, what can you do, Tory? And it kind of went to a problem you highlighted, which is a problem, but I don't think it's a problem for them. What they were saying is, well, we can't deport these people. We got to check and see if Tory now have charges. Well, what are you going to do as that slow process happens? You're going to house me.
Right.
And somebody will get paid to build that facility. Somebody will get paid to house them, to clothe them, for their phone calls. Everything will be slow rolled so that the people that make privatized prisons, because they ran out of brown people, black people, and so they're like, well, I need inventory for this building I have. Some people are selling winter coats and they're storing them in these big buildings. Some people's big buildings hold human beings, and that's why they're not being deported on time, or there's no real even talk of deporting people, or even getting to their trials. They're just holding them, which I thought was beyond illegal.
It is. The Sixth Amendment allows for a fair and speedy trial. You are allowed to hear the accusations against you, and you are required to be given a safe and free trial. By the way, that applies to citizens and non-citizens. Also, the illegality of being a non-citizen is a misdemeanor. So it's the same as throwing off a firework illegally, just so everybody knows. That's how the world of crime is. If you're an illegal immigrant, it's that dangerous. It's a misdemeanor. So to throw people in a medieval moat,
it's crazy. Yeah.
It seems crazy.
All right, Tory, I think we need a palate cleanser before we get to the story about the children's.
I love that.
All right, Tory, it's weird because I kind of spoke on this maybe a couple times on the show in the last few weeks, and it's interesting we're doing a story about it. But what I've been saying is, when I go to some of these breweries to perform, which you do a lot in the summer, because that's where people are, they're outside, I see a lot of kids. I told you I went to this one bar and I thought there was a little person ordering, which I have a lot of my friends are little people. I don't care. I was like, oh,
right.
I was like, oh, she's 12.
Yeah, she's little.
Nice, And so I realized that a lot of these breweries, their target demo is people that are 27 to 36, but that's also the target demo for small kids, which causes a little problem.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is they're trying to combine it where you can bring your kids to the brewery. But they interviewed a bar owner from the Cleveland brewery. Is it a Cleveland bar or is that just the name of it?
I think it's a Cleveland bar, and they said there were kids in trees, there were kids running around, they were causing some glass shattering, and it's like a real issue around that. And now they're trying to ban kids in breweries. So people in our chat, colleagues, we want to know, is this like a third space that you want to have to be able to bring your children? There's not a lot of spaces left for you to come and drink and be with your husband or partner and have your kids with you. So is this something you want, or is this something you'd rather have no children around? Because I go to a lot of breweries in Denver, and I don't mind seeing children and families. In fact, I find it a little enchanting to see children and dogs and all that. But so I'm for the kids. Al, you have kids. What do you think?
I'm not at the bar to be enchanted. Is it frozen? I'm there to get hammered and talk to somebody's daughter, hopefully. I don't want, Tory, I'm a big fan of lines. Like, there's a line in between us right now. There's got to be some kind of line between adults and children, and also man and beast, because they also allow dogs at a lot of these bars.
But Al, no. Denver is such a dog place. And when I go to the Edgewater Beer Garden and I see a golden retriever and a family drinking, and I'm happy. Like, you have to be happy. You're not there just to get wasted. You're there to enjoy the ambiance. The ambiance.
Is that created by the dog pee that's surrounding me? Because they don't know how to go to the bathroom, and they don't really hold it. They just kind of let loose.
I like it. I see, Shelly says, I see places with dogs and kids and grownups and alcohol all the time. Why is there not safety guidelines made by the brewery in place? Now, some places are saying, Shelly, that they have things in place, but the parents aren't paying attention to them. So they're just letting them run wild. So I think this has become an issue, but I don't know. Patty Alvarez agrees with Al. Guys, no one wants to have, like,
there's still some adults in this world that want to hang out. You know what it is? It's like my thing at a bar. If you and I are on a date and it's working, you know, it's really like, hey, this could be the future Miss Jackson here. We're gonna be on a date right now. This is my problem with the dogs at bars. You know, Tori, I didn't see us working on Tinder, but we matched. You know, it said you've been on the site for years with no matches, and I'm happy that I'm happy that you were still on there. But Tori, I just want to tell you, I hope this isn't too early to say it, but I think I'm falling. And oh, look at the dog's face. Oh, look at that. Look, he's hungry. He's hungry.
You can't do both?
No.
I think that's bizarre.
The dog takes away from whatever was happening in that moment.
No, listen, I spent time in Munich. I went to Oktoberfest. Dogs, this is the birthplace of beer gardens. They had dogs and children, and it's part of the whole community. I got to be honest, does anyone agree with me? I would do that, by the way. Michael Dean says that. But is there anyone that agrees with me that enjoys the sound of children laughing with the beer and this?
Not while you're drinking, because then you end up censoring your language.
Oh, give me a break. You would never censor anything.
I wouldn't. I'm not even that crazy at the bar, but it's just like you would never be like, Al, I met the finest guy yesterday. Like, you would never say that if there's a kid running in between our stools. You just be like, so I guess we're gonna talk about Joanne Fabrics closing again. There's no, I don't look the kid, but this is the last thing I'll say, and it'll go completely against what I'm saying. I do think that there is a period when you have young kids as a couple. Let's say you have a 1 and a 3, 2 and 4. During those years, it's so easy to forget who you're with.
Yeah.
It's only on the kids, which is kind of your biological duty, but also like, hey, me and you made these kids. I love you. You know what I'm saying? What's going on with you? You seem a little, you know, and I think that can get lost. And I do think couples do need a way to date without paying a sitter $198,000.
Right. So you agree with me?
Get it?
Yeah. So you agree with me?
Yeah, but keep them in the back, like in a pen.
Okay, maybe a separate space. Maybe a separate space. People are suggesting in the chat, like a playground, and then like an adult area.
Yes, but the first time a kid falls off the jungle gym and breaks his arm, like, who's liable for that?
Yeah, the bar is. Yeah, I agree. I understand. Again, I'm wrong. I'm not going to give in. I believe in children's laughter and dogs barking, and I am a happier person because of it. So you all can go to hell.
All right. Speaking of hell, Tory, it is hot as hell and it's affecting people's summer travel plans to Europe.
Yeah.
Have you, this has been something that's been slowly, you started to see the story maybe 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And was it last year where people were getting heat stroke in Venice? I know Venice had the floodwaters.
Yeah. So the heat waves have started in Europe around late July, but this year they started in early July. And it was like, I had friends over there and it was 104. And it was just like overwhelming furnace. Now, if you know that Europe doesn't have a lot of AC or places with AC, and if they do, they shut off at night. So it's also become an issue, Al, in Karachi. I know a lot of people aren't spending time in Pakistan, but the workers there have a very difficult time sleeping because, Al, the nighttime used to cool off. Like it used to be really, really, really hot, Al. And then when the sun went down, there was some reprieve and you could get sleep and you could get ready for the next day. Now in places
I understand how the sun works.
Well, I'm just simply saying, I just read an article that in Karachi and places like that and in Europe, it's not cooling off even at night because of climate change. So there's no break. And so people aren't getting sleep and then they get up and they're dehydrated. And so it just is becoming a much worse cycle. So there's an article in the New York Times today, guys, about where can you live where climate change won't affect you, the water won't get too high, the heat won't be too strong, and these places are becoming fewer and fewer and fewer, and we're going to end up all concentrated in like the equator part of the world. And it's going to be it's going to be uninhabitable. You can't live and work in those.
It's going to create climate refugees, and that's when you start to have the idea of an economic collapse, because there are going to be nation states that cannot sustain 2 million new residents.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It's getting too hot, and even though the climate skeptics are disappearing as we speak, the new word now that they use, it's complicated. I don't think it is.
It's very easy to understand.
It's blazing hot outside. Do you remember? Yeah,
freaking hot.
Yeah, I think there was a video of Bill Nye last week saying that we had the 3 worst floods of all time within a calendar week.
Wow.
That's not nothing. It's just like, they just want to there's something about the internet that draws a certain personality that doesn't really care about what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But they just want to argue and play word games. There's it's something with dumb people where they think it makes them smart to try and unpack tiny details.
Right. It's distracting.
But when you're not looking at the bigger picture of just dude, we can go back and forth on your dumb YouTube channel that you've created about climate change is a hoax, but step outside.
Mm-hmm.
It's 103 right now.
Yeah, just be outside.
Right. You can tell something is different.
Yeah.
And so let's address that rather than having this back and forth with these disingenuous arguers. Is that the right?
Yeah. Shelly says, I lived in Alaska and it's very mild in the summer. And if you can handle dealing with snow and below freezing temperatures and blizzards at extremely high prices, it's a great place to live. Look, I'm just letting you know, Shelly, that's lovely.
You had me right up until the last 4. I appreciate the honesty, Shelly.
Yeah.
Shelly would sell you a car and be like, hey, it's only 30,000 miles. I hit a deer in that. Brakes are iffy. Headlights, forget about that. But I appreciate the honesty.
I totally agree. But I do want to let you know that the climate refugee is becoming an issue. And I wanted to let you all know.
Are those the same as climate refugees?
Yeah, would I say refugees?
It was a number. No, it's 3 words in there.
That there's a great site I found called Excluded Headlines, and it's about what people aren't reporting on. And Syria is having major wildfires, and I didn't know about Karachi and their Pakistani high heat wave. So I would, if your guys are bored or have a second, go to excludedheadlines.com. So interesting to find out the parts of the world we're not being told about. So just want to let you know.
All right, Tory, let's talk about some other stuff that we are not being told about. We are talking about Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah, what the F?
Well, the CIA is like, all right, we know him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's never too late for the CIA.
Yeah, and not only that, it turns out that there was a Cuban connection that everyone was thinking about with Kennedy. Apparently, the Cuban officials were in contact with Oswald which makes this a lot more assuming that this was because of Fidel Castro, the Cuban Missile Crisis, all these Cuban issues with Kennedy, that this was a Cuban strike on American soil. Now, again, we haven't read the whole thing. We haven't seen all the files, but there's a Cuban element to this. Am I right?
Well, he was part of a group. There was a lot of Americans that were pro-communists at that time, so he was in one of those factions. There's no doubt in my mind that he was, an intelligence asset. And it sounds like you're talking about tinfoil hat stuff, but I mean, Lee Harvey Oswald was known to the CIA as a
Is
communist.
DRE? What is it? As Dre?
Yeah, it stands for some kind of something about that was the name of his group.
Yeah.
But the CIA was aware of him, and this is a person that defected from Russia to the United States, came here, went back to Russia with no interference, and then was allowed to come back to the United States with a Russian wife. He was not tackled at the border when he got here. How'd that happen?
Yeah.
You think they're not aware of that?
During 1963, during that time, Bay of Pigs, like
right.
Totally.
The height of just like hyper awareness of potential spies and things like that. So I definitely think that it's possible that he had something to do with it. Now it's so weird. It's a bad take for a show, but I could see where he wasn't. But it seems like a lot of things that we've been told, Tory, are not true.
Yeah, and I think that
it seems like a lot of things are not true.
Yeah, and I think the Warren Commission has a lot to be wonder about. I also think Jack Ruby, let's not forget Lee Harvey Oswald. We don't know a lot about him because he was shot by maybe another operative who wanted to shut him up. I think Jack Ruby was involved in this as well. I mean, it's so rare that they let him just walk out without protection, and then he was shot on live TV too.
And Jack Ruby was a strip club owner. Like he wasn't like working as a double agent. Like he was like, what is he doing down there?
Exactly. Why was he allowed to just be there? So the CIA was aware of Oswald. His wife was Russian too. She wasn't slowing down. Okay. She was Russian. And then
and I mean, we're not gonna get into it, but MLK, I mean, what was his name? What was his name?
Not McKinley. McKinley is who shot.
No, he had three.
Hinckley killed or shot at Reagan. I think this was James
Earl Ray.
Yeah, that's right.
And they're just saying like for where he was and the shot that he took, he was like a 2-bit criminal bum dude in Mississippi. He was not in Memphis. He was not like a guy that's like following the travelings of Martin Luther King, who was definitely obviously on the government's radar, as were the Black Panthers, which were killed. Just
absolutely killed.
Robert Kennedy just killed right in front of everybody. Malcolm X. It's just like, it's very interesting, these narratives that we as Americans allow to spin, where we look at other countries and we're like, Putin is assassinating journalists.
Yeah, but we don't say that here.
Yeah, they're like, well, what happened to Virginia Dufresne with the Epstein thing? She unalived herself recently after saying that she never would. Oh, she's gone. Oh, another Boeing plane crash. What happened to that guy that said that they were not working right? Oh, he unalived. It's like, oh, did he?
Yeah, he fell out of a window. Oh, really?
Yeah.
I do want to say too, Martin Luther King gave the famous Moses on the Mountain speech right before he was killed in Memphis. And what's so interesting is he felt like he knew he was going to die, like he was being followed. And in that speech, he says, I'm going to make it to the mountaintop, but I might not cross the mountain with you. and it was the last speech he ever gave. He was 39 years old. He never made it to 40.
You
And
forget about how young these people
he was
were.
so young. And he said, I might not make it to the mountain with you or across the mountain. There's something, and a lot of people have said this, that he knew. He knew he was being followed. He knew he was going to be attempted. And of course, there were attempts before, but I just wonder if he knew. I wonder if he knew.
All right. Enough assassination talk. We need to do right into this.
To be near you feels like heaven in the afternoon.
That's my favorite one.
All right. Yeah, Tory, we're talking about romance. Obviously, these young folks out here on these apps slinging their game, these ladies and vice versa. The problem is, Tory, some people don't have Riz. And right now, I can honestly say that you and I don't have Riz.
I have Riz. Let's slow down and tell people what Riz is.
Let's tell people what Riz is.
It's charisma. Am I right?
Right.
Charisma.
Right.
That's not Riz.
But you still don't have Riz, and I don't have Riz, because you might have it internally, but neither one of us have Riz, the app.
Oh.
There's a dating app called Riz that neither you or I have yet. The day is still long, however that saying goes. I don't know how to say that.
The day is still going.
Yeah, it's still, I just state facts with my but yes, Riz is an AI app that you can use on a dating app. So Tory, if you ask me something really clever on a dating app, like give me your top 3 places not to have a date, and I'm like, oh no, I don't have Riz. Wait a second, I do. I'll go to my phone and AI will be like, here's 3 clever tongue-in-cheek jokes that you can make. So yes, it's now giving you a personality. So Tory, would you ever use Riz? And do you think this is a good idea?
No. You know why? This is making us stupider. This is making us less creative, less interesting. We are becoming dumber. It's like that scene in Billy Madison. We are all now dumber because of your answer. And may God have mercy on your soul. I mean, this is making a whole generation of people not have any personality and rely solely on AI. Imagine how now the generation after is going to be, they won't be able to do anything without AI. Now we don't even have a personality. I mean, that's really scary. I would also not want to be dating someone that used Riz to get me to like them. I'd find myself feeling manipulated, and I'd be like, I would feel no chemistry with that actual person. That's really scary.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because at first I was totally on your side, but then I was like, people have different strengths and weaknesses. And I think some people think about a party. You walk into a party, and because it's natural to you, you don't think twice about it. If you're left to roam for an hour, you will know everybody in that party.
100. I know. I'd be at their wedding in June. You're right.
Right. But somebody like our old boss, Bert, would stand in the corner, eat cheese, and talk to the one person that he knew.
I love
Bert,
cheese.
And Bert knows he can regale you with stories that you can't believe, but he's not like a great starter.
Right.
You know, so if you're like, I feel like I have a lot to offer, but I'm not good out of the starting block. It's like, are you a good long distance runner? Or are you good out of the blocks in the 100-meter dash? You know? And so if you're not good out of the blocks, that doesn't mean that you couldn't be potentially a good match and a mate for somebody. It just means that like they may pass you over because they're like, this girl doesn't like. When I went on my first date with Sarah, I was just so curious. I was like, who is this girl that is not talking? She's amazing. She's just like interesting, and I wanted to know more about her.
But then
I was drawn in.
I get that, but you're drawn in by fakeness. You're drawn in by a catfish. Then when you go on your first date, the person doesn't have Riz sitting there in their ear unless we're becoming that movie Her and they're hearing it. But like, so you're not really going to end up liking the person in person.
I can see that.
You know what I mean? Like, is this not some form of catfish? Michael Dean said it too. I just don't.
Well, then let me ask you this. Then Tory, is putting on makeup and your most booby dress, is that catfishing? You're not going to be dressed like that Sunday afternoon at 2:00 when you got the flu.
Don't ever say booby dress again.
Yes, you got a booby dress.
You know, I go to Boob Town sometimes, but I will say this. Those boobs are mine. They're not, I'm not saying they're real or fake. I'm saying they're not AI. Like that's still part of my body. But if I'm using Riz, I'm using a fake that I'm using somebody else. I don't know.
What about makeup?
Again, I'm just enhancing my beautiful self.
Well, but aren't you just enhancing your personality by using this app?
Look, as a defense attorney, I see your point of view. As a moral compass, I disagree with this.
There's no moral compasses on date. It's just like second date or not.
No, there's moral compasses. I don't want someone faking their intro to me and I'm finding chemistry with a robot. That is a moral compass that I'm not into. I don't know if that makes sense. Now, Shelly says you could use it at home for practice, but I wouldn't go any further than that. It'd be relying too heavily on AI. It is like Roxanne or Cyrano de Bergerac, where they
Roxanne when he had the big nose and she like the other good looking.
Yeah, Cyrano de Bergerac, and he would be like whispering what to say, and then he would get it. But that person was real too.
All right. Well, we will leave that there. Gee, we're burning through our time. Let's get to this really quickly. All right, Tory, we're talking NFL collusion. Now, before our viewership drops off a cliff, this is a big deal because there are 32 NFL teams. Those teams are supposed to be separate entities. And obviously the NFL have a union, so they have a union rep that just like you would have a union rep at the Teamsters. It's supposed to be the players versus the owners. Hey, we want more money. We want more break time. We want better health insurance. And then the owners say, no, no, no. And then you guys battle it out. Well, the NFL union is now being accused of colluding. So they're saying, okay, if I'm the Cleveland team and you're the Washington team, I'll say, hey, Tory, I'm only going to pay Michael Dane $10 an hour. Now, when Erica, your intern, is up for contracts, that's going to help you set the price point for Erica because you'll say, our competition, Al, paid Michael Dean 10, so we'll pay you between $9.50 and $10.50, but you set the bar because you guys are colluding against the players to keep their salaries low. Because if I sign Michael Dean for $50,000, Erica's going to be like, yo, I do the same thing he does.
Right. Exactly.
That's where my price point is. So it's collusion and it's a big deal. And I know it seems like a sports thing, but almost it's really a labor issue.
I totally agree with you. It's almost like an employment wage issue. I do want to remind people of this collusion in the NFL. It was also because when Kaepernick was taking a knee,
absolutely talk to the people really quickly.
Well, the NFL was I talked to my dad about it, an attorney, and he said the NFL was in real trouble because they started colluding to keep Kaepernick out. Now, a collusion doesn't have to be more than 2 teams. It only takes 2 to be in collusion, and that's illegal. And it's a hard thing to fight against. It's a hard thing to go against because the NFL teams have endless resources. I mean, they have so much,
and it's hard to prove.
And it's very hard to prove collusion.
How do you prove what somebody thought? So what they were all doing, colleagues, to explain this to you, and again, this has nothing to do with sports, but more like a human being having their livelihood taken away. Colin Kaepernick made his famous, he kneeled, for the anthem, and NFL fans reacted poorly. Oh, did I lose you? Wait. Okay, there we go. Yeah, NFL fans reacted poorly. The NFL panicked, and he was cut from the 49ers, and no other team picked him up. This is a player. He had gone to the Super Bowl like a couple years. He was a really good player. And as somebody that's cheered for the Browns and are horrendous quarterbacks, there were teams that needed a quarterback.
Yep.
And you could tell the announcers were told never to bring his name up. Because they'd be like, because teams throughout the year, players get hurt. And there was a period, matter of fact, colleagues, during the pandemic, when we first started coming back, the Broncos had to get a guy that was working at Safeway
Yeah.
could
Yeah.
play
I
again
remember
because everybody had COVID.
there was 3 strings that went down, and he was like
all
the
3
4th.
quarterbacks. You're
Yeah.
telling me they couldn't use the guy that was in the Super Bowl 3 years ago? They're like, no, the guy bagging up the eggs and not putting them on top of the bananas. That's who's going to quarterback the Broncos.
I know, but I do have to say, Al, I think people like the Kelseys that have names and that have a platform could be really useful right now, because as someone just wrote, just me wrote, like, it's like the Friends cast, the players have the power. It's true. If they can get together and organize, they can really take on the NFL teams, but it's going to take an enormous amount of power to do that. And they all have to be together.
Well, that's the difficult thing. Just to wrap this up so we don't talk too much about sports. The difference with the NFL, colleagues, is players get hurt and they just don't play again sometimes. The average NFL career is, I think, 3.5 seasons. Baseball guys play longer, so they have a stronger union. Basketball guys play longer, so they have a stronger union. Football, you can't really threaten a strike because you might be cutting into some guy's 3-year window to make all the money for his life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they
you're
don't
right.
have the leverage to be like, yeah, let's go stand on the picket line. They'd be like, bro, I need that. There's only 16 games.
Yeah. And it's
You
even
know?
worse now that Michael Dean's letting us know the union bosses actually didn't tell the players that they were all colluding. So now the union bosses aren't helping the players. So it's all going to come down to the players getting organized against this, because it's going to take some power. It's going to take, I wonder if it's going to take the Kelseys. They're the biggest ones.
All right. Well, Tory, as we start to wrap up, I'm going to show you our new singer.
That's great.
Burning questions. All right. Tory, which burning question do you want to do? Do you want to do what's a childhood memory that lives rent-free in your head?
No, I think the one we put up that someone said, what's the last time you caught yourself acting just like your parents? Let us know in the chat, colleagues. When is the last? It's like the Progressive ads where he's like, no one asked about the trash. Do you need to ask? No. So let us know what you guys think. What is the last time you acted like your parents? Let us know in the chat. Al, when's the last time you did? Do you remember?
Besides earlier in the show when I went on the rant about the line between man and beast, my dad would not, Tory.
Really?
Oh, man, no.
Wow.
No, but I do. I actually said this to myself today because I have a lot of stuff to do. I had to mail out some stuff today and just get the studio ready. And my dad used to tell me the only thing is the next thing.
Yeah.
And it's the way to keep things. And I can hear his voice in my head when I get a little bit overwhelmed. It's just like, do the next thing. Like there's 5 things, but you can only do one. So let's do one and then we'll figure that out. So like definitely feeling a little Otha Jackson right now. What about you, girl?
Can I be honest? My father and your father are the same, both attorneys. And the advice that my sister and I both got from my dad that we have imprinted in our heart is bite-sized pieces. Take things in bite-sized pieces. Just chunk them into the littlest thing first. Do one.
But you were
thing
talking about dropping acid. Small pieces of paper.
That's right. Just Me says, my dad loved doing crossword puzzles. So do I. A to Z with JB says, when I told my husband, I'm not a restaurant. If you're hungry, you will eat it. That's hysterical. Shelly says, this morning I was going to raise my voice to the neighbor who has no exhaust system on his car, and I could see and hear my mother in my head, and I stopped immediately. I give you permission to continue doing that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
you can't be making decisions for the whole neighborhood.
Right. Get off my lawn. Kids doing wheelie on my grass, says Julia. Mine is at restaurants, guys, when I'm not getting a waiter to give me like any service, and it's been like 10, 15. I'm going to go right up. I'm going to find someone. I'm going to stand up. I'm not going to be rude, but Judy would have done this, Al. If there's a wait, if the line's not moving, Judy's going to expedite it. So that's where I get that pushy little Jew. That's my Judy coming out.
You got to advocate for yourself.
Thank you.
Yes, I love it. And now let's get to
Okay.
All right, Tortor.
Okay.
Hit us with your fun fact.
Okay. How much larger do you think the sun is than the moon?
93,000 times bigger.
Okay. That's a lot more.
I don't even know if that's how you quantify things.
This
The sun is huge.
it's 400 times the moon.
Yeah.
So
The sun is huge.
400 moons take up the sun. Should I do another one?
Yes, unless you want to leave us with like something that should be in an indigenous gift shop.
What is the most covered song in the world?
Happy Birthday.
That's a great call. That's actually, you can't cover Happy Birthday because it's a fair trade song. So you can't cover it.
Is that true?
Oh, Daytime Talk After Dark. Michael Dean saying I'm wrong. It's approximately 64.3 million Earth's moons could fit inside the sun.
What'd you say, 400?
Yeah.
The only thing you got right in that is the 4.
No, I'm telling you, it says the sun is about 400 times larger than the moon. Maybe that's wrong. I'm getting this from Today's Show.
Yeah, you're on a rogue website called webcrawler.xf.
No, I'm not. Also, wait, whose birthday was it? Okay, so apparently that might not be right. But I do want to say that Yesterday, the song by the Beatles, is the most covered song. Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away. Yesterday.
All right, stop singing it. Why do you want a stream to go down?
Sorry, Amy Higgins got it, and I just want to give her a huge shout out.
That's really good, Amy. I'm impressed.
Amy, do you know what Paul McCartney put in instead of Yesterday when he couldn't think of any words? He just came up with the songs. Does anyone know the words the famous words he came up with? You want to know?
Just say it.
Okay, he said scrambled eggs.
Okay.
That's what he used.
And on that note, Tory, tell the people to come holler at us tomorrow on Daytime Talk.
Daytime Talk After Dark will be live on YouTube. We will be on at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So figure that out. We want you to like, subscribe, share. And really, you guys are really watching a lot of Friends from Work. We're going to be posting more on an Instagram when I figure out how Google Drive works. So don't worry, you're going to see more. So follow us at Friends from Work Live on Instagram. We love you. Oh, tossed salad and scrambled. Oh, see, Gigi says sun is approximately 400 times larger in diameter than the moon.
You didn't add that part.
Okay, I apologize.
All right, y'all. It's quitting time. Bye.